Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your October reading. It's good to see everybody. I'll give all of us a chance to get set up, make sure that I can see myself on the monitor, and once everything is going here, we'll begin. All right, I can see myself now on the monitor. It looks like we are connected. Good to see everybody. How are you doing? I've been off for a couple of days as I've been relocating, as you know. This is a temporary location. My previous place that I was living at, I kept telling you I was getting intuitions that something was up. Lo and behold, there were termites in the walls and the ceiling. So I'm glad I was able to navigate out of that. And sometimes it's kind of cool in retrograde. We have to just sort of like pick up and deal with things. It is a time where a new beginning can happen, but it's also a time where you can repair or fix or avert something, making and breaking of cycles. So as we look at your cards today and everything today, we'll look at similar things for you and maybe help you get a little bit ahead of it. That's why we do the readings here, right? Hopefully you can hear me well and see me well. I am doing this, like I said, remotely and all through my phone. I'll be for the next month or two just kind of using either my phone or my iPad to upload, and it looked like it worked out last night okay. So unless AT&T starts throttling me, we should be all right. All right, let's go ahead now and let's begin here. First of all, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. One little fun thing here, because it's kind of casual with this new setup, is Apollo can just chill out behind us like a little house cat. So Apollo's in the background giving us some love and support. And what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at your monthly reading. And as you can see here with the graphic, you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon signs. You can also use it for any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. So if you know Venus or transits and things like that, you can also use it for that or look on behalf of someone else that you love in your life. Additionally, if you stick around until the latter portion, I actually do sun, rising, and moon right before we do our meditation. So I'll fine tune it just a little bit for those of you that are cross-watching. I always begin with channeled messages, which comes from spirit and dreams, and then we get into the main portion of the reading. So we'll get into that in just a moment. If you like what you see here, please subscribe. Last night I did an impromptu, and over the course of the next month or two, as I'm going between locations, it'll be more important to have those the notification bell on and to be subscribed so you don't miss anything. Even this would normally be on a Monday instead of a Tuesday, so it's just good to subscribe if you haven't. You can also follow me on social media for reminders. I try to post at least a day before, if not the day of, to let you know when I will be live. Quick reminder for safety when it comes to other platforms and even YouTube. I don't offer private readings. I only do public readings here. I don't use direct messages unless someone's contacting me to report a problem. And I don't offer products or services through the DMs. I just like to let people know because there's a lot of folks out there that are pretending to be people that they're not. If you'd like to show some love and support in real time, it's optional, but you can always use super stickers, super chat, or become a member. And membership allows you to ask questions when I do my quarterly sort of milestone videos, and other perks in the future, TBD, maybe some behind the scenes stuff, etc. Okay, all of that being said, why don't we get into the channel messages? I'm going to get the slides set up here. And again, I had a lot of energy coming through in dreams last night about redirection in a large portion for you. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring up your presentation for today. And that is not the right one, so let me reopen it. 1 second here. So I'll talk a little bit about it while I'm bringing this up. Here we go. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I saw spiders in the dream, an empty pool, and a boat that was looking for its sort of direction here. So to me, the empty pool shows a chance for you to recharge, take care of yourself. The cobwebs are all it's about clearing. It's also an attractive energy, so I also see that as positive. And being your own light source is what we're going to talk about with the boat. All right, so first things first. Swimming in an empty pool, it was really interesting. I was watching as, someone was getting ready to dive in, and there was a conversation about, is the water treated? Is there enough water? And as upon kind of like closer inspection, there were parts of the pool that were empty. The parts that had water, the water didn't look good. And for me, this is a pretty clear indication of like an Ace of Cups in reverse. But before we even get into that, it's also a matter of recovery and repairing. So we'll talk about filling your own energy up first, but let's imagine that you're on the path to rebuilding or recovery. anytime something takes a while to deflate or to drain out, it takes also a while for that to fill back up. So if you've recently had an injury, if you've been on a rebound, like from a breakup, or if there's been someone in your life that's passed away, all of these things have a way of tapping out your energy, because grief and adjustment and change, it is just a major life change and shift. So it requires a lot of attention and a lot of focus. So I like this grumpy Seven of Pentacles character because we can all relate to what he's showing us from time to time. There can be this feeling of frustration in, why isn't it happening yet? Why is this taking so long? And the flip side on this is that change is happening. It just has its own speed. It has its own sort of mind, and don't expect the results overnight, but be open to them happening faster than expected, or maybe you're going to get back more than you thought. You'll end up making out positively by this change and recovery period, but give it time. That's the main thing here. And focus on the important lesson with the Seven of Pentacles is always to know what your limit is, to hold firm to boundaries, and to try not to overextend yourself, basically. And we've all fallen into that pitfall from time to time, just because you want to please, right? Other people, you want them to like you want them to be happy. And so you say, yeah, I'll do that, even when you know you're really tired, etc. Okay? Next card here was what I was talking about. So imagine that Ace of Cups is reversed. It basically symbolizes the need to find balance and satisfaction in your life. You don't want to solely find this in others. Of course, people that you love, friends that you like to hang out with, they bring that sense of joy and balance. They can't be the battery, though. They can't be the sole source of your energy. And that is oftentimes what is the missing piece in a lot of readings, because it's always about we're talking about your twin partner, your twin flame, your better half. There's all these words that we use, but the light has to start from within. So self-improvement and healing, education, anything that's sort of spiritual or enlightening, all of these things are going to help you fill the cup up to this overflowing portion that we see here. The Ace of Cups is an offering. And basically what it's saying is, it's kind of like if you go to the grocery store and you're hungry, you want everything, or you make bad decisions. When you go to the grocery store when you're completely full and nourished and okay, then you can think with a clear mind, and you're like, I really don't need those cookies. I really should cut back on this. And you start to be more discerning. So when you're full, then you can see the world for what it is, and you're not looking for a quick fix or a quick pick-me-up. And that's basically what this is showing us here with the Ace of Cups. Okay. All right. So finally here, cutting ties with toxic energy is another piece that came through when we're looking at the pool metaphor, because I was thinking of the water not being treated. And that kind of harkens back to environments, people, relationships, habits in your life. And so I picked the two cards that show things that we need to step away from. I mean, two of many, but the Seven and the Five of Swords, to me, they're like cousins or brother-sister cards, because they have similar energies and characteristics. So what we would want to do to counteract this would be accountability, sustainability, and working on making yourself happy, not in a sort of like selfish way, but just in a self-realized way. It's not your job to fix everyone, and it's not their job to fix you. And that lesson is something that takes a long time to learn. But when you learn it, then you no longer feel anger, resentment, or a feeling like you need approval from people that are not there to kind of fill that function. And that's the main lesson with this particular slide. All right, if we move on to the cobwebs and the spiders. I saw two spiders, and I saw one that had an egg sac with it. And to me, it does symbolize growth and abundance, especially the egg sac. It's like the end of Charlotte's Web, where all those little spiders are going off with their parachutes into the wind. But the cobwebs, or the webbing around you, to me, that was showing parts of your life that may be a little bit long in the tooth. It might be time to let go of some things. There could be some attachments or some fears that are kind of grabbing onto you. So release anything that's dragging you down. Release anything that is a fear, which we were talking about in my impromptu last night. Sometimes good things happen and we're afraid that they're not going to last. So let's step away from that fear and think, this time it is going to last. I'm not afraid of, when the other shoe is going to fall, because I've set it all up for success. We're going to be okay. All right. and let yourself step into a period of abundance. See this as a big magnet. And that's really why typically you'll see this on Eight of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, and some different cards in the Suit of Pentacles because it's an attractive force. Okay? You don't want to get caught up in someone else's web. That's definitely a piece of that. So remember that as well. All right. This last piece is so important. And I think that it really takes a while to understand that you are the light. You're the light that you seek. We may spend a lot of times looking for that inspiration or that light from others or in others. But when you start to just realize, I am enough for myself and I should be more than enough for someone else, then that's when you actually find your power. So this is also important if you want to make a change in this period of time, whether it's in retrograde or in October after retrograde. I want you to realize that as long as you are supported by the truth and the integrity and the light of your higher self, you will be supported in this change. It's a time to be bold, strong, and to be yourself and to emanate the light that you seek. So if you're looking for someone that is strong and loving and has a sense of humor, you want to develop those traits within. If you're looking for someone that is independent, successful, self-sufficient, you want to develop those traits within. Because like attracts like energy. So the more you are that which you seek, the less you need it, the more it's attracted to you, the easier it becomes, and the more you are just partners rather than missing pieces. We don't want the puzzle pieces. We're looking for twin stars, not twin flames is fine too, but twin stars, two equally bright, luminous objects. Whether that's a friendship, a love situation, or just a business partnership, we're looking for that reciprocity, okay? And that's what we're going to try to find today as we're looking at everything. And I think that summarizes everything that I was looking at. The other thing, this was kind of like a directional card because it was a ship in the harbor trying to find its home, trying to find its way back. So remembering, of course, that home is anywhere you make it. That's a lesson that I've discovered as I'm moving along, that your direction is yours and yours alone, and that you don't need any sort of permission or approval to kind of step into that path. This is when you start to feel really good about where you're at, what you're doing, what's coming, all right? If you just joined, welcome. We're getting into the Celtic Cross now. So this is going to be anything that needs to come through in this moment in time. And I really don't kind of like make this all about love or all about work. We're going to focus on the expanded forecast after I pull these cards, where we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right. Let's go ahead now and pull some cards and see what's coming through for this month. Okay, let me just scoot over here for a second. And again, this is going to be for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, we're going to let that happen. We got 2 in the recent past. Zoom out just a smidge. Thanks for giving me a moment. I had to take all of these out of their boxes because, like I said, I just got in my Airbnb a couple days ago here. So first time doing something all remote, and surprisingly, it's okay. It's kind of fun to have a different backdrop. Darker table actually works pretty nicely for the cards too. A little bit more contrast than when I'm using my marble table. And the couch is sort of a casual vibe. So thanks for being flexible. When I did my Pisces reading last month, the cameras weren't working and I just had to kind of like go back old school, and it reminded me it's just about us hanging out here, looking at the cards, talking about what's going on. The equipment, the cards being used, the backdrop, it's all nice, but at the end of the day, it's just about us here together. Right. That's kind of the lesson I've been learning as I've been going through all of this. All right, so let's talk about your cards here. We're going to focus on your catalyst first, and your catalyst is pretty gorgeous today. So we have never a crowd on the leading edge. So let's move this to the first camera here, and we'll look at it a little closer here. Beautiful sort of spirit family coming through on this one. It says, honor those who honor you. And this may be a period in time where you're figuring out who your friends are. And a lot of times that happens when there's a challenge, misfortune, a misstep. And, you know, the people that are just fair weather friends become very clear. It's sort of like, okay, this person is only there when things are working out, or this person has a lot of critical stuff to say, but not a lot of constructive stuff to say. So as you are on a bleeding edge and doing something unique, some people may just not get what you're doing. You may be doing everything right, but people just aren't understanding it. So to be a leader often means to be stepping into a path that is a little bit lonely or a little bit unexpected or uncharted. So what I get with this is that you're on the right path and that others around you are going to take some time to catch up. But when they do, for you, you may have already figured out, like I said, who's on your side and who's kind of like just in their own head. So use this period for discernment. Pay attention to those who are supporting you. Disconnect a little bit from those who just can't envision what you're thinking. Remember, we had that card in the channel messages where I was highlighting both the 5 and the 7 of swords. And these could be some of those folks that just are lacking accountability, lacking vision, and who just have a hard time showing up the way you need them. And that's okay. I believe everything's a blessing. And I actually prefer to see that behavior sooner rather than later so that I don't waste time. So I'm never angry when I see someone's true colors. Usually I just wish that I could have seen it earlier. That's my main wish with all my intuition, but everything comes exactly when it should. So on the flip side of this, you might actually meet a mentor or a person in your life that is aligned with you. Less, but higher frequency, that's okay. Fewer, but better, that might be actually the sort of the name of the game right now when it comes to your interactions, okay? Welcome, by the way, to the new members. Anyone that gives a sticker or becomes a member, I will personally thank you at the end of the reading, but right now I just wanted to say thanks, and I see some new folks joining. All right, let's go back and take a look at your center cards. I love that you have the 10 of Cups at the center. With the 10 of Cups in reverse, it's kind of like the perfect problem. A lot of times when the 10 of Cups reverses, it means that you're doing such a good job of being a friend, of being a hard worker, of being a support person for someone that they just don't know when enough is enough. And they may be trying to get you to do more. And your opportunity right now is to basically hold firm and hold strong to your boundaries. Ultimately, this is a beautiful card. I mean, I love how they show the sort of musical notes wrapped around everyone. And we see friends, we see family, all of that. But sometimes these people can they have a way of getting under your skin, right? Friends, family, and coworkers, because they know you the best. They know what is going to trigger you. They also know how to manipulate or to get you to do things that you may not want or need to do yourself. So stay firm to your boundaries and don't be afraid to say no a couple of times or a couple of different ways. It will be okay. If the person truly loves and supports you, they're not going to like leave you just because you don't want to do one thing. So remember, know that your relationship's strong enough for someone to accept no as an answer, okay? This card was crossed by the balance card, and a lot of times the 2 of Pentacles, I read it as a work-life balance, and that's why I was really leaning into it's okay to say no. It's okay for someone to see that you're strong. A lot of times this can also indicate a choice that has to be made. And sometimes we have, the freedom and the opportunity to do a couple things at once. But other times, if we try to do those two things, not only are we unsuccessful, but we typically end up hurting ourselves, like our body, we get tired, we get sick, we may not accomplish what we set out to do, and we just kind of at the end are thinking like, I'm just trying to make everyone happy, but I'm not really succeeding in either. So in this period of time, I would encourage you to choose one thing where you can make the biggest impact and focus the energy and the sort of the insight in that direction. We can't always have like a hard no to something, but you could do a really clear split, like an 80% and 20% split where most of your energy is in one area, and you don't let something fall off the chart completely, but it's not going to be the main focus. It needs to be that strong, and if possible, delegate and say a complete no. But sometimes I get it, there's limited resources. In that case, you've got to put most of it in one direction. It's always teetering a bit, and you can kind of interpret it that way as well. Predominantly focusing on one area. And for some of you, this may mean that you're going to focus a little bit more on your relationships right now. So this can show that there's been a lack of balance in the relationships, either too much energy or not enough energy. And so in this moment in time, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to bring that closer to even and make sure that I'm not letting something important go by the wayside. Okay? All right, let's look at your deep past. How much do we love that the Magician is there? This is a great card for manifestation. This is a great card for recovering and rediscovering your power. So many times, I can think in my own life of, this is very close, by the way, to that hermit slide that I have, but it's kind of like we're seeking our fire, our inspiration, our leadership in the mind or the heart or the head of someone else. And this is saying, you've always been the source. And this is very source-oriented, the way the illustration looks on this card. I love that the Magician is sort of like swirling the energy around this well in front of him. It's so beautiful, or her rather, and them. We'll just use a neutral pronoun there. So I love that basically the Magician is always the source of their own energy. They're tapped in. They can become a channel as well, as above, so below. So you don't need someone to complete yourself or to complete whatever it is you're trying to work on. All you need to do is focus your energy and intention. Interestingly enough, I think that's why this card came through, which is saying it's time to rebalance. You also have like this wonderful network here, but this is saying I don't need to depend on them for success. I'm not afraid to lean on them if I need support, but I've always had what it takes to do what I need to do. And now is the time that I'm going to really allow myself to do that, okay? So focus and belief are necessary. The Magician can't work unless it has faith, it has belief, and it's a lot less effective if it's not focused. So you have to believe in magic for magic to work, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to focus. And those things will empower the Magician, okay? As we look at recent past, we actually got a double pulling of cards here, and one is abundant and one is about discernment. So let me just pull them close up to the camera so we can see it. I'm going to start with the card on top, which was the Six of Pentacles first, and then we'll go with the latent card, which was stuck to it. So the Six of Pentacles is my base card that I look at as a reader for to sort of say you can do this. So guess what? I'm saying that for you this month, Scorpio. You can do this. You have what it takes. There is a necessary piece with the Six of Pentacles, however, to understand that there are limits and know that usually there's one thing that has to give in order to make everything successful. It could be the time, the timing of a delivery for something. It could be the scope of what you're trying to accomplish. It could be the general effort. You might want to, sometimes you have to throw more resources at something to make it happen. So you have to maybe spend more time or spend more money or reduce the effort. So this has a lot to do with anything that you're trying to accomplish professionally, maybe with home improvements, even in a relationship, because time, energy, and love constitute resources too. So you can have everything you want, but you can't have it all at once. You have to look at the timeline, and you have to share a little bit. So discernment is key. And then under this discernment energy comes the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, a change of fortune for the better. The Wheel of Fortune, I like to read as a positive card, particularly since it's underneath this. It's just saying I have to change my direction. This card also carries with it a little bit of risk. And because we see the dice, we see the chips, it's very Vegas oriented the way this is illustrated. But she's empowered and she's pulling at this sort of opportunity saying, I'm willing to take a risk on myself. This is a good opportunity. I'm worth it. And so I actually support that approach. You have to be willing to bet on yourself. There's always a calculated risk as you step into the unknown. But if you've done your homework and you've also practiced what we just talked about with the Six of Pentacles, which is basically saying, I'm willing to do this today or that tomorrow, but I can't do it all right now. The discernment and the scheduling energy is going to be super important as you move into the next 6 to 8 weeks. As we go to your crowning card here, we have the Fool. This is one of my favorite Fool illustrations. It actually came up last night when I did my impromptu. And what I love about this Fool is it's the empowered Fool. She's holding an amethyst crystal, which is protection. She's taken the necessary steps to protect herself, her assets, what's important to her. And this is less of a leap and more of sort of a trust fall. And that's what I was talking about last night. And so what we're seeing here is to trust yourself. Once you've done the required homework, once you've achieved that balance that was so pivotal in the center cards and even over here, once that balance is underway, the Fool is coming through to say, all right, let's just do this. Let's let go. Let's have some faith. Let's trust. And so there is a release that needs to happen for this next portal to open up in your life. And I think that once you're ready, you'll be pleasantly surprised here, especially if we just take a quick glance at the cards here. There's a little bit of ambiguity or unknown because we have the Two of Swords here. But what I love here is that there's receptive energy at the end with the Six of Cups. There's an element of surprise which is happening. I feel like you can make a splash right now. So it's a little bit of a risk, but for many of you, the element of surprise portends good things. Three of Wands, Knight of Cups, Six of Cups. So you're being asked to step into the unknown. Step into the sort of darkness right before the sun rises, right? And trust that the sun is going to rise. And so what you can do in this period of time is to create whatever sort of contingency or security net that you need to feel like it's okay to step into the unknown. But I think anything in life that allows for growth also carries with it a little element of the unknown, a little bit of risk, and it's usually worth it. Let's take a look at the cards here to help you navigate some of this ambiguity. So we have the Two of Swords upright and the Eight of Swords reversed. The Two of Swords upright a lot of times is just indicating that there may not be a black and white solution, that you have to just make the best choice possible. It can always be alleviated by bringing in something like research, a second opinion, but there is diminishing returns with this. One or two or three approaches to kind of bring in some extra energy will help, but at a certain point, you are going to have to find that balance in your life. So I like to just imagine that these, just like the Two of Pentacles at the center, you're being asked to make your own path here. These aren't clear-cut cards, and this is saying basically you have two aces and you have two hidden aces here, an Ace of Pentacles and an Ace of Swords in duplicate, and you're being asked to choose between those two paths in front of you. Indecision leads to stagnation, leads to you just standing still. So researching, being contemplative and thinking about it, and then taking the best path. That would be my prescription for the Two of Swords. You're eventually going to have to move. So take the blinders off, take one of the swords, leave one behind, move forward with that ace. You'll be okay. You can always course correct later if you need to. At the end of the day, I'm getting from my guides that the buck stops here, which is saying the choice is yours. You'll make the right choice. You'll make the choice that's best for you. All right. What I see is a quick confirmation that not only are things moving in the right direction, but the thing that you're seeking is closer than you think. So when I was preparing the slide for the boat, I was thinking it could be a call and answer. And I could have put these two on there, but this is a nice discussion of it now. I was like, why not have it be the Hermit as the lighthouse and the Three of Wands maybe as the person at the other end of the shore? The two of them are seeking each other, and really what they need to do is meet each other halfway. So take a few steps in the direction of whatever it is that you seek. and you're either going to bump into Three of Wands or Hermit energy, which basically says that it's a lot closer, but it's a little hidden. And the Three of Wands can be hidden in plain sight. Sometimes if we're just looking in the wrong direction, we're not going to see the ship coming towards us. So my news for you is that you're a lot closer to accomplishing something. Don't give up, and change your focus, change your direction, look around. You might be surprised by who you meet, what you see, or how quickly something manifests. This happens fast, and so we like that. So anything where you want to see growth or change in, we're seeing it pretty quickly here with that Three of Wands, which I love. Okay, let's go ahead now and move into your environment. This is what I was talking about earlier, which is there could be people around you that have a hard time seeing what you're trying to do, but you may also be missing the power, the passion, and the energy that you have in your own sort of person, your own self. So this is one of the best Eight of Swords cards. Maybe it is the best, I think, because it does a great job of showing the insecurity portion of the Eight of Swords. And somehow, like, we'll look at it upright. So this is sometimes what we see when we look at ourselves. It's a feeling of being trapped. It's a feeling of being sort of beholden to everyone else's thoughts and decisions. The truth of the matter, from God, from the universe, from your higher self, from your ancestors, they see this person, which is stronger than they think, more independent than they give themselves credit for, and not tethered at all. So this is how you may perceive yourself. This is the truth. And so what we're seeing here, and also this could be the true you, this could be what people are perceiving. The mirror goes both ways. So whichever end of the spectrum you're on, just realize the stronger half is always the truth. You're always stronger than you give yourself credit for, or than others give you credit for. And so this is about stepping into that strength and security. And even in the face of criticism, because when you are on that cutting edge, or the bleeding edge, or the leading edge, whatever kind of metaphor you want to use, it's not crowded. It's sometimes lonely. This was a very, I love this deck, but they're so wordy in the sort of descriptions. I would just say being a leader can be lonely sometimes, but it's never unfulfilling, and it's never the wrong path. So trust in your leadership ability, trust in your vision, and know that you will attract others when you believe it. You've got to believe it. When you believe it, when you really enter into the magician energy, then that Eight of Swords goes into the empowered state. And it's like, all right, I'm seeing this clearly for the first time, which really is what Eight of Swords reversed is. I'm seeing it, but why can't others? Well, maybe it's time to change the people that you're kind of working with, or who you're spending time with, if that's the issue, okay? Do some research, ask some questions. Eight of Swords in reverse represents the ability to have an epiphany, to see some things differently. Definitely there are things that are under the surface that need to come out. So when it comes to contracts, especially since we're in a retrograde, I wouldn't sign anything immediately right now. I would take your time. I would have a lawyer look at it. And by the way, like as I was exiting from all the stuff going on, I was working with a lawyer. You have to in this period of time. So any significant changes in contracts, it's worth a lawyer's worth their weight in gold as you work through that, so that you make sure that you're doing the best that you can and you're not missing something. So definitely get experts to take a look at stuff and make sure that your eyes are as clear as possible. All right, let's focus now on hopes, fears, and opportunities. How much do we love that the Knight of Cups is coming in as well? I'm really pleased with where the challenging cards are and where the positive ones are for you today. It's divinely decreed here. Knight of Cups, someone or something could come rushing in unexpectedly. It's good news, especially this one. We see like a picnic, a love note, some flowers, and this sort of wild steed in the background. Not to mention a handsome Knight of Cups sitting there and saying, I value you. So one of the things that you want to work on is feeling like you deserve it. And I know that sounds simple, but it's not. How many times have you taken a compliment and brushed it off? When someone says, maybe it's your boss and they say, thank you for the hard work. And you're like, oh, it's nothing. What you say is, that means a lot. I worked really hard on this. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Let them know that you worked hard. Let them know that you worked, 2 long weeks of, overtime on that, because you did deserve it. And that is a compliment. You just say thank you, a heartfelt thank you. If someone comes up to you and says, you look amazing, just just say thank you. I appreciate that. You made my day. Don't say, oh, what, this old thing? I didn't know. Like, never I mean, I get it. Sometimes being humble is good, but really make sure that you're not selling yourself short, because there is a fine line between being humble and not being able to accept love and abundance. We want that Ace of Cups upright. Say thank you so much. That's it. That's all you have to do when a compliment comes your way. When there's a raise or a compliment, you can just also say, this is going to make a big difference in my life, especially if you're receiving something. Let them know you appreciate it and that it means something to you. And that's the exchange. But what I see here is, yes, this could be new love. This could be a new opportunity. You could get what you're asking for. In our impromptu last night, when we were checking in on the retrograde and also manifestation, because I've had a couple of weekend collectives around those topics and I wanted to see where we all stood. One thing that I was challenging the collective that tuned in to that reading to do was to be open to things working out better than your imagination, and to be happening faster, and to know that, if you're open to manifesting a better outcome, you can manifest a better outcome. So instead of thinking you're not going to get admitted to a college program, that you're not going to get the job that you wanted, that you're not going to get a refund for a return that you're bringing back to the store, whatever it is that you're trying to hope, that just get detached from any outcome and think, this is going to go better than I thought. That's the key to manifesting success. I'm not attached to either outcome, to the approval or the rejection. And whatever happens, I think it's going to be better than I could even anticipate. And then just step in with a nice deep breath and an open mind. Then it's going to go better than you thought. You're not trying to push something out. You're not attached to either outcome. And you're telling the universe, help lead me down the path of least resistance, most positivity, and the most happiness. And then that prince, or the Knight of Cups is going to come in, right? So one other message here is, you are worth it. You are lovable. You are worth it. You can do this. And we have two speedy cards here, which is something that I like to see in a spread. We have the Three of Wands, which is saying it's happening now, and the Knight of Cups, which is saying more is going to happen, and more is going to happen faster than you think. So things are operating at new speeds, new velocities. Whatever was happening last month, it doesn't matter. We're looking at the future now. All right, let's focus on your outcome card, which is Six of Cups. And now for some of you, there's finally a healing which is taking place of the inner child. The Six of Cups does not always have to be someone else. It can indicate inner healing. And this card is like the Band-Aid that we would put on the Five of Pentacles, which is oftentimes a scar from our younger days. Something that a parent or a teacher did, or that a brother or sister did. And then suddenly that scar kind of returns as an adult. And so this is saying that inner child is coming out to play and he's healed. And so I love that. There could also be love coming back from the past. You have a chance to repair a relationship with someone from the past. And with the card upright, it's always good. When it comes to love, this is a very fortunate pairing. This indicates incoming love, water sign perhaps. This indicates the connection, which is a deep soul and a positive karmic relationship. With how the cards are sort of arranged, I could say this would be a good energetic companionship. Sometimes the karmic relationships can be complicated, but it's looking pretty good here. What I would say, if we were to look at some of the lessons, and we'll go deeper when I look at love in a few moments here, but knowing limits, knowing boundaries, trusting one another, and having hope and faith with one another, seeing the best in your partner, not expecting the worst, and knowing that just because you don't see something, that doesn't mean that they're not feeling it or they're not demonstrating it. There's a lot of trust energy that's coming through this time around. Even with great karmic relationships, there's always something from the past usually that needs to be dealt with, or you wouldn't continue to meet up as partners. So for me, it's just freedom, trust, and faith in each other. And these are things that I feel like they're the higher energies that you can work with, and it's still a great pairing, okay? Let's go ahead and expand your forecast. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each is multifaceted and multi-part. As I look at your health, a reminder, of course, that I'm here to help you with energy. If there's anything going on in your mind, in your body, and you need help, you can work with a professional on that. All right, focusing now on your health card. We have the awakening presence. This has come up a couple of times in the past month. And it's basically saying that the universe is with you, which I love. Many of you may be achieving third eye or crown chakra awakening. But let's read the caption here. It says, wear a cloak of protection and love. We have all this beautiful lavender energy on this one too. Very closely connected to amethyst that we see in the Fool as well. For those of you that use crystals or have jewelry with amethyst in it, that's great. Anything purple would probably be fine in this period of time because it's going to connect with these uppermost chakras. So when you awaken spiritually, intellectually as well, sometimes it can be overwhelming because you're seeing, feeling, and noticing things that others haven't. And that's why we have that HSP, highly sensitive person acronym out there, because the beginning phases of waking up can be very overwhelming. And if I think back to like 2008, 2009, when I was really starting to connect with all my senses, initially I couldn't discern my energy from others because I'm highly empathic. I could walk into a crowd and it was like I was plugged into an outlet. And so I hadn't yet learned how to ground and shield. And so I think one of the best things that you could do is to focus on grounding yourself. And that can be as easy as like walking outside, spending some time in nature. You can grab a rock from the ground and just hold on to that for a second and feel connected to this earth. Imagine the earth spinning, imagine you connected to it and that you are perfectly aligned with that energy. And then when it comes to shielding, you can just shine. Honestly, sometimes we put way too much focus on, should I have mirrors? Should I have this? Should I have that? Just imagine yourself as bright as the sun. And the sun is able to hold it all together, right? And nothing comes into the sun that it can't take. If it does, it consumes it. And it's like, I've got that. So just shine brightly and imagine that you are connected to the earth plane and you're going to be fine. And that's what I think could really help you as you're stepping through day to day here. See yourself as brighter than you give yourself credit for and more grounded than you imagine. Okay. And by the way, I'm fine now. That it took me several years, but one thing that helped is every day I have a spiritual practice. I meditate. Every day I'm working with you guys as well. That connects me to spirit. And I have a schedule that I have to adhere to. Even though I'm a spiritual being, I have a schedule with you. I have my own things that I'm trying to maintain and trying to find a new place, things like that. I have everyday things. And so it's good to have those schedules in our lives because it keeps us grounded to the earth plane as well. So make a schedule, make a routine, make sure that meditation is a part of that, and that'll help you out. Looking at some other energies around health. These two cards can be about trying to push under the surface something that is scary, something is not understood. They're both blindfolded, right? Two of Swords and Eight of Swords. So when this happens, you may need an external point of view to help you get through something that's challenging. So ask for some additional insight, particularly when it comes to coping with something. You may, for the first time, feel like I've just never been through this, whether it's grief or a big shift in your life. So ask for help. That's what experts are there for. Let me see what else is coming through here. This is balance. This can be tripping on something. So if you are doing any sort of moving, if you're exercising or just multitasking, put down the phone for one thing, focus on one thing at a time, and remember that you're going to be okay as long as you do that. If you're multitasking, what could happen here is you could miss something and then all of a sudden you end up tripping and falling. I think it's completely avoidable. Or if you're driving your car, it could be a fender bender. So it's like there's a reason I usually remember, but I'll like take off my watch before I do the reading because I don't want the light popping up. And I have my phone, but it's under the computer here because today it's my internet connection, but I don't want to see those screens, and even my monitor is to the side. I need to bring it a little closer so I can see it, but I usually like to keep the distractions in the periphery, so it's you and me, and it's a little easier that way. So try to focus as much one-on-one in conversations, or you in the road if you're driving, or you in your computer if you're trying to get something done. Because I think a distraction could take your focus away, take your balance away, because that's balance, that's a lack of focus. The only other thing that I'm seeing here, actually it's pretty positive aside from that. I think easy exercise. And what I mean by that is low impact, like walking, swimming, even chair-based yoga, depending on your own mobility issues, especially if you're recovering from an illness or an injury. Just take it easy, but do something to be kind to your body. Gentle movement is good. Stretching, even if you're just sort of sitting still and taking a moment to stretch a little bit, it's really good for the body. One thing that I noticed with this little sleeping beauty behind me is if we ever go out on a walk, the first thing that he does is he stretches and he'll grunt a little bit and he gets all this sort of kinks out of his body, but always doing upward and downward dog before the walk. Even before he eats or whatever, he's always stretching, and I love that. And he reminds me to do more of the same. So it's good to have that sort of gentle movement in your body, and I think that will help out. But otherwise, the cards are good, and I feel good about your health. It's more about an awakening that's happening for you. The veil is lifting, because this is a very awakened card. Literally, that's what it says. So third eye open, and also your two physical eyes open. And so this is also coming out of the veil, and this is needing to kind of step into that. So there could be a little bit of resistance with respect to doing this, but it's the necessary piece. Let's move on to your wealth card. Love that we have Father Sky coming through here. Very connected to Zeus energy. And so with this, what I see is also like the emperor, right? Whether we're looking at Zeus or Odin or God or whatever, doesn't matter here. What's coming through is divine masculine, which is based on action. Lightning bolt, also very much based on the action. Looks like we've got an eagle here as well, looking at things from a higher perspective. So with this card, suffice it to say that you have what it takes to lead the charge. And this is really true when it comes to your work and your money. Get involved. Even if you're typically, like maybe you're in a partnership at work or in love where the other person is the lead. What you could do is ask questions and say, help me understand, how are we tracking here? Or I would like to do this. Can we make it work? Let's run some numbers. In your own life, if you're single and you're self-employed, or you're just the one that manages your finances, take a closer deep dive in this. Get some education or some advice if you need it. Basically, the more you can control that, the more you're going to become a manifester. Because when you feel like I know my money, I control my money, I know my schedule, I know my power, then these cards are very similar. This is a card of power, and this is a card of power. This is a card of wielding that power as well. This one doesn't even have to question it. And so I always like to think back to, like, I know they rebooted these cartoons, but like He-Man and She-Ra. With He-Man anyway, he had to declare that he had the power and then he could use it. Very interesting, actually quite connected to how magic would work. You have to believe it. And he also channeled it from above, right? So I have the power, and then the power came through him, and then he transformed himself and the cat, basically. But it was basically the magician. He became the magician. So because as above, so below. And same thing with She-Ra for the honor of Grayskull, whatever. But it was the same sort of thing. She held up her sword, and then she became like the high priestess. So we all have that capacity, that as in kids' cartoons, just to kind of sit here and say, I have the ability to make this happen. I am strong, I am powerful, I am capable of manifesting. And remembering the lesson from the impromptu, which is, this could turn out better than I ever imagined. Forget about the worst case scenarios. You can prepare for what might happen if it's not expected, but also prepare for the best case scenarios. We too often neglect that. And that's the key thing here. Trust in the unknown. You're being led. By the way, what a beautiful marriage here of these cards. This is unknown. This is unseen. This is saying it's okay. You're being led in a good path. This is unknown. This is saying you may not know, like the people around you may not be there, but you're bringing in fewer but better quality people in the long run. So I like this. This is just saying bet on yourself, which we've been talking about the whole time. Let's see if there's any other messages with respect to your money, to your career, etc. Okay, so some of you have done too good a job at your job. So we're going to start with those of you that have a day and like a 9-to-5 traditional job. You're flying under the radar. You're giving a lot more than probably is being expected or asked for here, because you could actually do a little less, is what the Six of Pentacles is saying. Either that, or they need to pay you more or give you a higher title. If you want to make a change, I see others out there that are willing, able, and ready to make that happen. but you have to be ready to call your bluff. One piece of advice I have is if you're at a company where it's not about like not noticing you, they just don't want to support you. They don't want to award you. They're cheap, or they're just hoping that you'll stick around because they think it's the best place on earth. If that's the case, you can always do better, and you shouldn't ever have to get a third-party option, another offer on the table for them to then say, oh, wait, we don't want to lose you. Because if they didn't appreciate you while you were there and you gave them a chance, so this is after you've already negotiated and said, hey, I don't know if you're aware that I've been doing this and this. I think it's time to talk about career growth, advancement, etc. If they decline that and it takes you getting another person to say, heck yeah, you're worth it, remember that the relationship with that company is never going to be exactly the same, the one that you're at, and they didn't see the value when it was staring them in the face. So really think hard and long, because this crowning card is saying it's probably time to move on if they can't, won't, or don't see it. So do yourself a favor, look around a little bit, see what's out there, see the interest, and then based on that, decide if it's still worth fighting for, especially if you've already gone back and forth a few times with your boss, okay? When it comes to just general worth, this is saying you're underestimating yourself. So forget about the company. Now I'm looking at folks that are entrepreneurial. This is you not seeing your true value. The latent value was the Wheel of Fortune. The visible value was the Six of Pentacles. So this is a major arcana. This is a minor arcana. You're worth way more than you think. You have to be able to see it for others to believe it. Just like a magician would use a sleight of hands to kind of distract us or whatever, and then get our attention somewhere else. You have to kind of like pull people into your energy. If you're not able to do that, then no one's going to see it. They're not going to believe what you're putting out there. Let's see here. The other thing here is I just see a lot of options on the table here. If you're finally ready to look for something, Knight of Cups and Six of Cups and Three of Wands are showing, wow, it could happen more quickly than you realize, okay? I also think that some of you may be overextending yourself. So we got both of the cards here that show that, Six of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles. So if you are at a company where you do way too much, stop doing way too much. And tell them that you're tired, you can't keep this up, that you need some assistance. And if you know that that's going to fall on deaf ears, find a better place in the long run. Because I've talked about in the past, this was like my first big job, the one that I really liked, and the company never quite worked out. It was one where I would have loved having like a full-time job and probably still would have been there. So the universe didn't want me to stay there. But I loved what I was doing, but I was doing the job of like 3 people. And I had a really good manager / senior producer that I was working for. And she said, let's just miss some deadlines and I've got your back. I will tell the boss why we're missing the deadlines and I'm going to get you help. She said, but you have to trust me. And that was this. It was a trust fall. And I did. And I said, are you sure? She said, yes. Because she said, you're going to get sick otherwise. And I don't want to lose you. Because if you get sick, and I was freelancing, she said, that puts your contract in jeopardy. I said, okay, let's do this. And she was right. We got 2 people. And I got to do more stuff. And I got to do better stuff. And I realized that by trusting someone, by doing less, and then communicating that this was impossible, through the help of someone else, that she won, I won, they won, the quality of work was better, and my health was better too. So a lesson here, it's not always worth it to just kind of burn yourself out, okay? And that's also why the past couple of days I had to take a break. As I was moving, it was very exhausting to do all of this. So that's why Apollo's sleeping. We've had a rough couple days here. So take a break. I take breaks when I need to. I don't think people realize sometimes it's every day that I do production, even with the 1 card pull. So I had to stop for a little bit. So do what you've got to do. Take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's you relying on you. Okay? Let's move on to the next card. Let's take a look now at love. So this is a beautiful card here. We have angelic protection coming through. The card is reversed, which could be for some of you feeling like there is, why did this happen to me? You could be in a very challenging situation and you think, why God, why me? Or why angels, or why higher self did you let this happen? Guides are funny sometimes, not haha funny, but curious funny. Sometimes they do what's necessary to prevent something different from happening, potentially more painful. Or like I said, that job that I loved, it still wasn't this. My guides eventually wanted me to get to this. And so I had to go through a period of 3 or 4 other jobs after that for about 8 other years until I was finally able to say, what am I doing on this path? And I left. But there was a reason none of them stuck. And eventually, like, I didn't want to stay in the path. I needed to get to that point. So they kept putting me in increasingly more challenging situations so that eventually I would just get sick of the trajectory. And they're like, why did it take so long? You should have done it like 6 years ago. But we made sure at the very end that there was, like, without a shadow of doubt that this would happen. So I had like one of the most challenging work experiences. And in retrospect, it's because I knew that I probably shouldn't have even embarked on that journey at that point. So sometimes if you trip and fall, if you get laid off, if you have a really big blowout with someone, it's because you were supposed to get that like final straw so that you would walk away. For me, at the last place that I was living, it was a safety issue. And I was like, I can't. My guides this time showed me way far in advance. They didn't show me before I stepped into it, but they did show me before it got challenging. And they helped me find a way to safety. So I'm still grateful. And intuition happens when it needs to happen. And all you have to decide to do is what am I going to do with the knowledge given to me, okay? But perspective is key as you're going through some of these changes. So if there is a perceived misstep, it's happening to trigger change in your life. And as long as you adjust and react and move into that change, you're divinely guided. Okay, let's look at this in the context of relationships. First and foremost, we have to revisit the first card that we pulled, the Catalyst, which helps connect us to everything in the spread here. Honor those who honor you. The ones who have always been there for you, they're coming through loudest and clearest right now. There may be fewer people by your side, but the ones that are there matter. Interestingly enough, as we age, that happens. People pass away, people that we love. Other people move on. We grow away. We grow apart from friends, and that's all natural. But the people that do stick around, they tend to be totally worth the time and the energy. And so pay attention to that. Let's look at this in 3 different perspectives. Those who are in a relationship, looking for a relationship, or single and happy. Starting off with those that are already in a relationship. As I said earlier, you could be kind of struggling with work-life balance issues. And so in this period of time, I would encourage you to basically do what's necessary to feel that you can spend more time with the ones that you love or doing the things that you love, because your partner may feel like, I miss you. Where have you been? You may be feeling like, I need more from you. So communicate that. You may not get everything that you have on that wish list, but you're going to get more than enough, okay? So I feel like there's definitely a balance opportunity that starts with communication, because you and possibly your partner may be unaware of what's going on with each other. So I think open communication, non-confrontational communication, that's all going to be really, really key here. The good news, and there is a silver lining here, is initially you may feel like, I'm afraid to do this, but what we see is all positives, especially if you go into it with a very open and a very non-judgmental approach. What we see as a result is 3 of Wands, Knight of Cups, and 6 of Cups. So that's saying it's going to work out, or we mutually want this to work out. The person's very receptive, and we have a happy ending here. So for those of you that are seeking that sort of resolution, you absolutely can get that. Now, let's say you're looking to step away, declare your independence, for those that are partnered. That's also supported up here. One of the things that you have to do no matter what is to give each other enough space to trust that this is going to work out. So even if you're having the conversation of, balancing things out, you still have to trust each other. The other piece of this, though, is if you want to step out on your own, you're ready for this. You can manifest something positive. I see new love on the horizon. You're stepping into the unknown, but basically what we were seeing here with opportunities, which is basically what the career air energy can represent here, wealth. Trust in the unknown. Something good could come through. So If you are in a relationship and want to heal the relationship, I see healing. If you want to move out of it, I see new love on the horizon. Just get to know yourself and trust yourself. That's the most important thing. If you're single and looking, the most important thing right now is to balance out your schedule and the way that you feel, because these cards represent an imbalance of some sort. So if you're spreading yourself too thin, this is a time to be smarter about that and to really take care of yourself. Let's see. I think the other thing here is to not undersell or underestimate yourself, and to look for love in unexpected places, because when you're least looking for it, it comes sort of like charging in. Say yes to invitations, especially intimate gatherings with friends. There could be a friend of a friend that's invited. There could be someone that, and especially if it's a smaller group, you're going to have a chance to talk to them, and it could be exciting for you. So I definitely think that, yeah, there's lots of water energy that's coming through. So there could be a water sign coming into your life, even the 10 of Cups at the center. But it feels like it's like 1 or 2 times removed from your current friend group. So a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend, but somehow they are closer than you think. And you don't have to swipe on apps. You don't have to look too far. You just have to put yourself in the general vicinity of your already existing network of friends and colleagues. And again, faster than you think. Within the next 2 to 3 months or 2 to 3 weeks, you could be bumping into somebody if you're achieving this balance in your life. Making sure you're getting enough sleep, you're eating enough, you're exercising enough, like that health balance needs to be there as well. If you're single and happy, good for you. I always like to say that. I still think that people are going to play a really important role in your present energy. So it seems like you're surrounded right now by a lot of people, and it also looks like partnership could help you out. It could help you achieve a balance that's missing here. So maybe you need a little bit more time or energy or money for something, and you might have multiple partnerships coming into play here. So I think that the key for single and happy folks would be, how can I partner up with people in my life beneficially when it comes to, business, community, and also just general life energy. There's power in numbers. And it could be really rewarding for you as well, is what we're seeing with this. Okay? All right. So let's take a look. By the way, if you're having issues with super chat and super thanks, I see a comment on it. I'll put a link at the end to my website. You can also use a PayPal link on my website. So just chill a little bit, Yvonne, and we'll take a look at it at the end afterwards. I do see your comment, and I'll put it out there in case anyone else is having some issues. Okay. Let's now shift focus from relationships to your destiny card, and then we'll go into sun, rising, and moon. All right, so for your destiny card, isn't it funny? I was talking about the twin flame energy. I like to refer to it as twin star, because with the flame, I just like to go right into the star analogy, which is you're both equally luminous, equally bright, equal mass energy here. But some of you are actually pulling in that kind of a partnership, someone that has a really bright, resplendent soul energy, and they're here to see if you're ready for them. So you could be embarking on a really nice partnership. That's why I was saying, even if you're single and happy, this could be a best friend. This could be a mentor. This could be something that you've been looking for a while, okay? And again, the secret to this is to not have an attachment to this. So to just think, yeah, I'm ready for it. Yes, I'm open to it. But I'm also going to focus on establishing balance everywhere I need to in my life, working on everything that I need to work on. And then when this person comes in, it's going to be easy. We're not going to have to stress. We're not going to have to work on this so hard. Okay? That's great, actually. All right, let me take a quick drink here, and then we're going to focus on the sun, rising, and moon messages as promised earlier. So, quick disclaimer in case you joined late. All of my readings can always be used for all aspects of your chart, sun, rising, moon, Venus. But like most readers, I advise you to look at sun, rising, and moon. I tend to look at those for myself as well. And so together we can take a look at fine-tuning this a little bit if you are sun, rising, or moon. All right. Let's give the cards a shuffle, and I'll pull 3 and then we'll talk about them. Sun, Rising, and Moon. All right, so those are the 3 cards I pulled. Give me a second here, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to begin with the Sun sign. All right, so for the Sun sign today, we got the lovely King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is, there's really nothing negative to say about this when it comes to an upright Sun sign message. I would say you are very capable of manifesting whatever it is that you seek. This is a really good card for money. So building money, growing money. It's a really good card for projects, for launching or finishing a project. It's a developmental card saying I want to take care of myself, nurture myself, and expand in certain areas. And it's a card of house and home and domestic relationships. So if you want to improve any of these things, this is the ultimate card in the suit of Pentacles. And it's saying, yeah, let's do it. We see a lovely kind of energy, just like Apollo here in the background, and whenever we see the sort of dog or wolf represented here, this is saying, you know what, loyalty is coming in a very strong way. So as I said earlier, you're going to get to know who your true friends are during this period of time. But I love what this is saying with respect to your money, your finances, and your ability to really to knock things through the ceiling here in the roof. You're going to surpass expectations. So I would say for anyone under this sign as a Sun sign, you're going to be in a great place. So yay for Scorpio Sun. I'm happy that you are in this sort of growth stage and developmental stage. Let's go from Scorpio Sun to Scorpio Rising or Ascendant. So we got the star, which I love. The star is reversed, so I would say one thing that you want to focus on is not trying to change to suit others and to really actually reach higher than you think you can accomplish, to kind of like really push for the stars above you. This is also a time where if you're used to flying under the radar, you may be called for an opinion, you may be called to work on something. You're going to be in the spotlight, but the star only knows how to shine, so you're going to be okay. I would say one thing that you can do to work on that anxiety is to think of someone in your life that you look up to, and just kind of like emanate some of their personality traits when it comes to good leadership. Some advice that I could give you is that most people have insecurities, that even the person that you're thinking of in this moment has insecurities. But one of the things that you want to do is to try to be the type of person, type of leader, or generally the type of person that you would want to meet. So be empathetic, be kind, be open, be strong, be decisive. These are the things that the star card would embody. And be authentic. And as long as you are those things, then you're going to surprise people. I think that's the other thing. This is sort of like a rising, we could say a rising star. So you may be, because it's going in the opposite direction. So let's look at it from an optimistic point of view. You're on the rise, and people didn't expect you to have a certain shine or certain sheen, certain ability. And don't apologize. Don't shy away from it. Lean into it. Okay? And that's what I see here. A spotlight, but some discomfort with the spotlight, but nonetheless a rising star. Now focusing on moon sign, we have the Page of Cups, which is a nice complement to the Knight of Cups, which we got in the Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities. So I definitely see love and partnership coming through very strongly for those that are Scorpio moon. The other thing that is a part of this would be the ability to imagine all of this and more, because I love that we see a pig flying, which is beyond my wildest dreams. We see that cup in the sky, which is saying, this is beyond what you anticipated. It's an elevated delivery of this. So I really want you to not limit yourself by your earthly beliefs, by your past experiences. We see that yes, someone is coming in and saying, I feel this too. So this is a great time to ask for things and get things that you ask for. It's a great time to spend time with the ones that you love, whether you're trying to mend or leave or somehow attract a relationship. It's all beneficial with the Page of Cups. And also, people really are hearing what you're saying. They're hearing the emotion behind what you're saying. The delivery is almost more important than the words. Don't worry about perfection in your diction or in your vocabulary. Focus more on how you connect with others. To me, that I was listening to Iron and Wine. It's this great kind of folk band, and I'm trying to remember Naked as We Came. It was that song. And it was actually making me cry a little bit as I was driving the other day. And I'd listened to it maybe 10 or 15 years ago, whenever it first came out. And I was tapping into the emotion of the singer, who was thinking of a time when they wouldn't be around someone that they loved. And it's a song about one day one of us is going to scatter our ashes in the garden or something like that. But as I listened to it, I was like, it's a deep love. It's contemplative. This person's probably lost before, and I could feel the energy. They probably cried when they wrote that, or they're tapping into some sort of grief when they were connecting with it. So I'm empathetic now to the point where I can kind of like feel that. And so for you, you may be really sensitive right now, but also your words could have that impact on someone else. Your ability to just convey in voice, in song, in art, in just body language shouldn't be underestimated. So a lot of this belief is going to come through in the tone of your voice, and you're going to naturally choose the words that you need to. It isn't, I had a great English teacher that said choosing complicated vocabulary doesn't make you sound more intelligent. If you can't convey what you're trying to do, you failed. It's better to say it simply and more accurately than to use a bunch of fancy words and to lose the meaning or to lose the audience. So it's good advice. And that's why, again, sometimes if we think of like modern music, there's sometimes it is simplified because it can basically get out to the masses a little bit more easier. So I like both the complicated and the easy stuff, and I think they both have a place. But just get the point across and get your energy from the heart space across. That's going to be where your power is this month. Okay? We forgot one card today because actually we forgot a couple of things. Usually because I'm doing everything out of order today and I'm in a different space. We're going to now take a look at the big idea, and then we'll look at blessings and blocks. I'm doing a little bit out of choice, a little bit out of order here, and we'll do viewer's choice. So I'm going to mix it up. Let's have some fun. Let's not worry about it too much. All right, so we're going to focus on a big idea. So with all of what's been said here, let's see if there's one takeaway to help you out. All right. We're going to focus on the big idea. The big idea here is to basically say what you need to say and do what you need to do. We've got the Page of Swords in reverse. But look at the tightrope that she's walking on, in this case, a sword. Don't overcommit. So it's a nice connection to everything that we said. But if there is something that needs to be said or done, you're the conduit, and short and simple is basically what we got from that. So take action, speak up, don't overcommit. So nice connection to all that has been said. Let's take a quick look at the blessings and blocks, things that can help elevate or that could complicate the month ahead. Blessing, block. All right, so let's look at these. The blessing, guess what? More outward and very sort of like succinct communication. So Queen of Swords in reverse, one of the most powerful negotiation cards one could choose. This is someone who you want to have on your side, and as a sort of like an epitome of who you are this month, or as a personification of you, this is saying you can get it done, and you are actually a really good advocate and a good friend to others. Lean into very clear communication in business and in work and in general parts of your life. Cut out anything that you don't need and take definitive action. So we're actually amping up the Page of Swords reversed with the Queen of Swords here. And it's saying you're ready for any fight, you're ready for any challenge, and you're going to succeed because this is the one that I'd want on my side if that happened, okay? Don't be afraid to, like I said earlier, work with a specialist, whether it's a CPA, a lawyer, or any sort of person that has specific knowledge in a certain area, okay? The block. There could be people in your life that just aren't showing up the way you need them to show up, or they're taking too much, or they're expecting too much, or they're trying to tug you in their direction while things are spiraling around them. So know that friendship and partnership does not mean that people get this sort of absolute all access pass into your life. There are parts of your life you get to cordon off and say no. And so hold your limits, as we've been talking about earlier. Okay? Let's take a quick look at viewers and readers' choice, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is always a chance where we have a moment where we can basically check in with each other and see if there's some questions that need to be addressed. And let's see here. Okay. All right. So by the way, don't worry about, let's stop talking about the connection. It's just going to be something that's going to happen. So I see it in the background and it's actually okay. It will be all right. For some of you, there's going to be some jittering. For most of you, it will be fine. So unless I completely cut off, don't worry about it. On replay, it will be all right. All right. Back to work here. Let's focus on the cards here. So as I'm looking at everything in front of me, let's take a look at some common areas where you can focus. So one of them that I'm looking at is all of these cards around the unknown. So dealing with ambiguity. And I would actually say, rather than dealing with ambiguity, I would say embracing ambiguity as opportunity. All right, the next thing that I think would be great to look at is there's so much energy around partnerships. So attracting the best partnerships. And this can be any type of partnership. And then achieving the perfect balance. All right, so give me a moment to send this out for you to vote on. And then I'll decide as a reader what I want to look at. So let's see here. Fighting for your worth, because so much of the energy of today is about the sort of perhaps you don't see it or someone else doesn't see it. So how to really tap into the maximum self-worth. All right, so for the reader's choice, we have the lovely Nine of Wands, which is a card of survival, and also is a card where we see her, and this isn't a typical Rider-Waite-Smith illustration, we see her kind of holding up the torch. And as I said earlier, it's important to remind people just how hard you've worked for something, just how much you want to be a part of something. So she's saying, you know, I've done this, I've done that, I've gone this far for this, and I'm not going to give up now. So whatever it is that you seek, you can accomplish, but it is important to fight for it. So one of those things would also be fighting for equality, fighting for proper compensation, fighting for acknowledgement and reciprocity. And if you get pushback, realizing that this isn't the place, this isn't the right match for you. The other thing here is that I do believe hard work gets paid back energetically. So if not here, then somewhere else. But definitely advocate for yourself in the way that you would fight for your best friend or your partner or your child. This is your time to shine. And we did get star energy earlier when we were looking at the cards. So I believe that you can do this. All right, let's take a look and see what you've chosen for me. All right. So, and by the way, the warning is gone now, so it should be easy connection here. We have almost a tie, but we have partnerships in a slight lead. Let me see here. Yep, it's attracting the best partnerships. So we'll read that. Attracting the best partnerships. So this is about the Six of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and even for those of you that are single but happy, we also have the Ten of Cups. What's all the energy around partnerships about for you? We have the Ace of Swords coming through. All right, so for you, this is saying that people are very much attracted to your ideas right now. So this is especially true for those that are looking for opportunities in business or just looking for people that have the same sort of mental vibe as them. What I see right now is to talk about the things that make you passionate and to speak up at the table. When you're chatting with a friend, when you're at the boardroom table at work, when you're out at a sort of gathering, it's when people actually get this sort of view into, wow, there's a lot beneath the surface. And unlike the shallow pool that we were shown, your waters run deep. There's a lot of depth there. So the important thing for you is to show your depth and to be discerning when you find other people in your life and make sure that it's not a shallow pool, to find the depth there as well. So ask the probing questions, talk about the deep topics that you need to. Kind of like, that's part of the reason that I do readings the way that I do them here. There's a lot of opportunity to find very quick readings, and I know that some of you want things to be quicker here, but for me to access the channel that we access, it takes a little bit of work and it takes a little bit of oiling, and then once I'm in there, a lot of information comes through, and then I share it. So in your own endeavors, you may notice the same thing, that you're just going to go down a deeper path with some folks in your life, and it's going to be very rewarding. Really get to know all I can pay attention to is like the science and all this sort of energy around here. But Ace of Swords would be reading up on someone, talking to someone, really asking those probing questions, and then finding a kin, basically someone who is really in your wheelhouse when it comes to all of that. So I see an intellectual partnership on the horizon for many of you, and it's going to be exciting. And people are going to also see a part of you that you hadn't shown before. But ask the probing questions, because this is still a communicative card, Ace of Swords. And we had a ton of court cards reversed, the page and the queen coming through saying, get to the point, ask what you need to. It will be rewarded, and people may be surprised. You might be the first person that showed or said or asked about something, and that's going to be beneficial for you. Okay? All right, we're going to get ready now for the final portion. We moved things around a little bit today just because I'm getting used to a new setup here, new environment. And again, this is temporary. I saw someone was like saying, "Sigh, don't worry, I'm actually fine." I'm so relieved to not be in a place where I was worried about the integrity of the building. So I'm happier to be in a in-between zone. Ironically and interestingly enough, I'd actually thought about doing this initially when I was getting out of the previous apartment, which had construction, because there was too much stress before I was making my decision. So now I can just chill for a bit and stay here for a month or two and take as much time as I need to get to the next place, or I'll go to another Airbnb if I need to. But yeah, I basically don't want to rush in making the next decision. And I had a lot going on this year between losing a parent and having to get out of a place where there's a lot of construction. And so there was a lot, and then trying to do this. Too many things. And that's why I didn't tune into the termites when I went into the place until I had like a week or two of staying there. So yeah, I'm taking my time. I'm okay. But yeah, I'm tired. That's the only thing. That's why I took a couple of days off. And I'm so happy to have Mr. Apollo here in the background, who, as you can see, is super sweet. And I think he's loving the new setup. Whenever I get my new place, I need to get a couch. And maybe we need to do readings like this, because Apollo likes to be closer to me. As you can tell, he's been sleeping the whole time. And it's super chill back here, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. He just takes a nice long nap. All right, so let's get into the final portion today. We're going to do a meditation where we focus on helping you step into your star energy. And then I'm going to play a singing bowl. Let me make sure that I have everything set up. I'll help you get into the meditation, but then I need to make sure that I have the mallet for this. I think I have it in the bowl over there. Hopefully I do. I'll find it in a moment. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to see yourself. It basically the moments before dawn. It's still night. It's maybe like 5:30 in the morning or something. Whenever it's time for the sun to rise, you're able to see a faint blue glow around the earth, but there's still the stars over top. So we have that canopy where it's dark black, and then it kind of goes into midnight blue, and then you have just this little halo around you. You're basically surrounded by the halo of the soon-to-be rising sun. As you look up in the starry sky above you, you can still see some of the brightest stars, Orion or the Big Dipper or Polaris. And as you look at those bright stars, you also see a star that's shining that you don't recognize. It has a color that's distinct, a light that's distinct, and I want you to focus on that for a moment. This is your star. This is your own North Star. It's your higher self shining through to say, I've been here every step of the journey. I'm lighting every step ahead. All you have to do is to have faith, to trust, and to believe. And in that moment where you hear the word believe, I want you to really take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, let go of any fear, anxiety, or heavy thoughts. And as you enter into that belief, see this beautiful bright light from your heart shine out, connecting to that star, and then see it being met by the rising sun. So now there's just this amazing amount of light as far as the eye can see. And in this light, I would just want you to breathe and focus on what the universe is showing you. I'm going to grab the singing bowl here. Just a moment. Keep breathing while I do that, and we'll take a look and see what's coming through for you. All right, everyone, I want you to take a nice deep breath. See yourself now coming back into your body. See the rising sun in front of you. Realize that you have the energy, the capacity, and the wherewithal to make anything happen in your life that you want to happen. You are the source. You are the one that you are looking for, as I said earlier. You are the light, okay? Welcome back. I'm very happy that I figured out how to resume a broadcast. Now I'll know how to do that if that happens. And I know that I need to use the Wi-Fi here instead of my phone. I used the phone before in the past, but yeah, today it didn't work. So hopefully on replay that can get edited out. Let's take a look now at your final card. I want to basically remind you the final card is any question that I haven't had a chance to answer just yet. So it's your final question. Focus on that question and we'll see what's coming through here. And we have the Six of Swords in reverse, which is saying a couple of things here. So if for those of you that are asking, should I stay or should I go? This card is saying you already have decided. This is a card of departure. So now is the perfect time to move on. For some of you, there could be a fear or a doubt that's internally holding you back from doing that. And basically, this is telling you that it will be easier than you anticipated once you kind of step in that. Sometimes we're just afraid of the unknown, which was a big part of today's reading. So letting go is a big theme here. And I would say for many of you, moving on, letting go and releasing is the main message here. So should I do it? I see a detachment from this. Is the person interested in you? I see a detachment here. This is mostly about moving in a new direction. So if it's should I do it, it's probably a no, or the ship has already sailed. But what I see instead is something else coming toward you, a new direction for you. Remembering that I saw a ship at the beginning in my third eye when I was dreaming this morning, and I reminded you that it's kind of like the Three of Wands and the Hermit coming together. So be the light that you're looking for, go the direction that you want to go in, and everything should be okay. All right? And also everything in due time, and time heals everything when it comes to any sort of loss or fear or anxiety in your life. Okay? So that, my friends, is everything today in a nutshell. Thank you for your patience with the technical issues. It should be worked out by the time I do Sagittarius next. Like I said, I'm just gonna go for it and use the Airbnb Wi-Fi while I'm here, and this will give me a little bit more inspiration to find a newer place sooner than later, so that I have more predictable connection here. But yeah, we're in Mercury retrograde. There are challenges galore, but it's fun to be a part of this community, and I appreciate that I have a great group out there that is supportive. So let's take a look now at those of you that gave back with a super sticker or super chat. All right, so actually I'll do memberships first, and then we'll go to that, because I noticed there were a couple new members. So hopefully they're still here, and I didn't lose them when we had the hiccups with the stream. So Humida, thank you so much for being a brand new member. Welcome. Meg Marsh, thank you for rejoining after 1 month. Good to have you back. Hokulani, thank you as well for being a brand new member. Liz, brand new member as well. Yeah, brand new. And then I believe everyone else I've already thanked because they were from yesterday or last week. All right, now for super stickers and super chat. I would like to say thank you to Lovey Wyman. I appreciate your contribution today. I think that was it. Thank you, Tammy, for that sticker as well. And have a great day, everyone. Good to see you. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.